Kevin, you won't be surprised, but you should be proud of me that I cut a video a couple weeks ago. I was looking at over-under totals, and I was completely stunned. That would be a bit of an overstatement. I was surprised that Vegas had Kentucky at 6.5, and I said, take that over. I looked at the schedule. My goodness, the 3 wins non-conference, and then we'll say Louisville's most likely a win, probably in that 70 to 80% range. Right. So Kentucky should go 4-0 out of conference, and for them to be at 6.5, according to Vegas.
Yeah, I remember seeing that, and I said the same thing. I'm not technically, I'm not a big betting person, but I would jump all over that. And I think even, ESPN with their FPI or whatever it is they call it, I think they were right around 7 wins. 6.5 to 7 wins too. But I'm looking at the schedule. I'm like, okay, who are they going to, maybe we're feeling a little too proud of ourselves or a little too confident. But yeah, like I said, Louisiana Monroe, New Mexico State, I can't remember the other team now, Louisville, and then they play, I think it's Tennessee, one of the OVC schools. And then, like I said, in the games they should win, they, should beat Missouri, should beat South Carolina, should beat Vandy. That's 7 wins right there. Now, Missouri, I will say this: Missouri might be one of the biggest, one of the biggest games of the season, honestly, and it's in week 2. But and then you get into Tennessee, and Kentucky honestly should beat Tennessee this year, but we've seen that before. If Kentucky beats Tennessee this year, it'll be the first time back-to-back win since 1976 and 77. So that's a streak that really needs to end. So, but I think for me, 8 wins. I think 8 wins is a starting point. Honestly, I would say not a big stretch here, but I'm going to say anything less than 8 wins would be considered a disappointing season this year. And when in the world would you have ever thought that, you and I have been talking Kentucky football for about 5 years now, and when would you thought that would have ever, say that 8 wins could, winning 7 games might be kind of a disappointment. So.
And I'm sorry, in addition to Mississippi State in the SEC West, who's the other game against?
LSU.
LSU.
They have okay. LSU. It's LSU at home, and then they go they go to Georgia, go to Mississippi State. Now, see that's one of those games that I think is a toss up. Kentucky hasn't played well against Mississippi State down there, especially recently, and after Kentucky, pretty much honestly kind of embarrassed them last year, I would expect Mike Leach to, throw everything in the world at them this year. So I think that's, I think not necessarily a trap game, but I definitely think that one's a 50-50 contest. So.
Yeah, I think LSU and Georgia are going to be the 2 games most likely. Things change during the season, but the way it looks right now, where Kentucky's going to be a substantial underdog, but they do have LSU at home. Right.
Okay. And I think the last time, I'm trying to remember, I think it was 2000. The last time Kentucky played LSU at home was 2007, and that's when they beat a game I was at. I can say, of course, everybody says they were at the game, I'm sure now, but where they knocked off the number 1 Tigers in triple overtime. Honestly, probably one of the best college football games I've ever seen. Just an unbelievable game, that day. And I'm pretty sure that's the last time, 99% sure it's the last time Kentucky hosted LSU, because, with the SEC schedule now, you only play, you have the one team you play every week or every year, and then the other 6, teams rotate out. So, it's basically like once every 6, you would play somebody once every 6 years. So, last year's schedule, of course, with the pandemic kind of changed things, but yeah, LSU is the other SEC West team this year.
The last 2 times LSU visited Lexington, it was crazy. You hit that 07 game, and then the one before that was the crazy deflected pass and the Gatorade shower.
Yeah, I was at that game too. A whole lot different feelings after that one. And how many times have we seen that played on, on football, highlight shows, because like I said, Kentucky had won, thought we had the game won. And, all you got to do, what did they teach you? Do not let anybody behind you and just, knock the ball down. Don't try to go for an interception. And you go back and watch that play. The receiver got behind him, and I can't remember the quarterback's name now for LSU, but through it might have been Jamarcus Russell, I think. Through the perfect
was.
I can't remember, through the perfect pass, and and it was Kentucky. Unfortunately, Kentucky football, that's what we've we see a lot less of it now. But you could you could make a list of all the agonizing losses in Kentucky football history. Unfortunately, I've been at many of them, so I don't know if I was the jinx or if
what was that? I'm guessing 2004.
I think it was 2002. I could look it up. I want to say 2002 was that game.
I looked up 04. Okay, here it is. Yes, you're correct. 02. The touchdown pass. Ooh, Kentucky led 34-4. No, LSU was up 34-14. And no, 24-14. Anyway, where's this? Okay, this is kind of confusing because I remember this quarterback as well has a very close name to Jamarcus Russell, Marcus Randall.
That's who I'm thinking. You're right. That's it. Yeah.
To Michael Clayton, who had a nice career in the NFL. Yep. That was a crazy play.
Absolutely. So, yeah. Like I said, that's your Kentucky. What's your Kentucky? Football. Like I said, what we like to say, we like to call it the old Kentucky football now. So, but yeah, like I said, I
was just going to say one other capper on this one, Kevin, is for as much as these coaches hate to get doused with Gatorade, the worst thing in the world would be getting doused with the Gatorade and losing the game. So you're pissed off about losing the game,
yes.
And you're drenched in sticky Gatorade as well.
Yes, yeah, that was Guy Morris. Guy Morris was still here at that time, and got the unfortunate, as you said, the double whammy of the Gatorade bath and the and losing the game in one of the most, like I said, incredible finishes ever. Like I said, it's played for a reason, but that's, like I said, Kentucky got the revenge the next time. So I like that. UK should win 8. Rod Favre, I agree with you. I mean, I'm still thinking, I haven't done my predictions blog yet, or my, for last word, but I said, I'm really thinking 9 wins. I said 9-3 and, another New Year's Day bowl game or New Year's bowl game. But, we'll see. We'll see what happens. Like I said, there's a lot of, like I said, the website is going to be, throw the plug in here, last word on collegefootball.com. Between now and September, that first week, there's going to be, all kinds of content from all our different writers. And it's, definitely, if you're a college football fan, I can't encourage you enough to check it out. I mean, there's a lot of great people, as you will know, like Tony, Jason, that are friends of this site. I know, watched the thing with Terry Donahue, you talking about Terry Donahue the other night and his legacy. And, like I said, I think it's going to be a big, this is, don't want to, get too excited, but this might be the most excitement around this program that I can remember. Maybe since even like the Tim Couch days, which was the late 90s when Hal Mumme came and, threw in the, ushered in the air raid offense. I'm sure there's been more exciting, seasons. There's been more exciting seasons, obviously, the 10-win season a couple of years ago. But nobody was really expecting Kentucky to win 10 games this year, except maybe you. I don't know. I can't remember what you picked that time. But yeah, it's just going to be, like I said, it's going to be fun. And, obviously with the restrictions, the attendance restrictions are off. And so we're, they're expecting, a full house at Kroger Field for that Missouri game, which is the first SEC home game. And, and they'll need that crowd, I think, to win that game, because I think that's an important game.
Yeah, the excitement that surrounded those Kentucky teams of 1998-99 wasn't so much about winning. It was about they were just so incredibly awful before that. Number one. Number two, it was about the style of offense and the excitement
Right.
of scoring so many points, throwing the football all over the place. And of course, the wins followed, but we're not talking about anything close to as good as that team was a couple of years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And we're talking about 7-5 kind of football teams.
Right. Yeah, and we were excited, and you think about that first team, the first team with Mummy went 5-6, I believe. And then it was the next year, went to the Outback Bowl. I was lucky enough to go to that game. We, the TV station I worked for at the time we did an entire week's worth of coverage for that. Yes, you are correct. UK will beat Tennessee. And it was one of the most fun experiences of my life. But now as a 50-year-old, there's no way I could do that. I don't think I could do that anymore. But and then unfortunately, the Mummy, it all kind of fell apart with UCL with NCAA violations. But yeah, like I said, like I said, you throw in Rodriguez, the much improved at the wide receiver position, strong offensive line. So I think it's going to be a big, I think we're in for a big season, and I hope that it turns out to be correct. So.
I saw that Mummy Couch team play once in person that year. They came to Mississippi State, and I remember Mississippi State, actually, that was 1999. Mississippi State was undefeated at the time, like 7-0, ranked in the top 10, and we did a big pregame show, and it was a Thursday night, I believe. It would have had to have been for us to take the news out there. We did a big pregame show and post-game show, and Mississippi State barely beat Kentucky. It was a great game. And
yeah, I remember that games. And Rod Farva, that's pretty good. That's a pretty good assessment. The Hail Mary was about the Christian, Christian Laettner shot, because you can't go through a March Madness without seeing that dang shot. Now I know we've had a couple of, the one from Villanova a couple years ago. That's kind of maybe taken over, but you're still always going to see that. Kentucky fans, one of the most popular T-shirts you see is, I think it was Throwboy Tees, which was, Jared Lorenzen, the late Jared Lorenzen company, says, "I still hate Laettner." And you still see, that you see Kentucky fans wearing that, all the time, during basketball season. So, but yeah, like I said, we, a fantasy football channel. Okay. I could get into that. I'm in 12 fantasy football leagues. So, maybe not quite that many, but anyway, sorry. So yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to say, yeah, I don't really think I could take off on that. That would just be a little bit too much to take on, but maybe a college football history channel, I could get into that.
That'd be good.